here to back at it. Number three, we did two previous ones and diving in today on a new strategy. So, if you are in the newsletter business or email business, I want to talk about a way that you can drive more revenue. Okay. So, there's a difference. I want to get into a few things today. I want to get into the state of the newsletter market. I'm going to get into the fastest way to increase revenue if you have a newsletter, tools that you can use to do that one thing as well, and then how to get started with it. Okay. So, appreciate y'all jumping in. So, those are the things I'm going to get into, and should be some detailed information. So, if you're watching, got questions, let me know. If you're watching and you got want to take notes, I'd highly recommend that as well. So, state of the market, state of the newsletter market, right? So, it is one of those things that it's becoming saturated. So, the newsletters are launching daily. New newsletters are launching daily. And what does that mean for you? What that means is that there's more there's more competition, right? So when there's more newsletters, you're not, if you're in a niche, there's going to be more people in that same niche, which means there's going to be more people going after the similar advertisers that you have. Now, the good thing is, so there's a lot of people going to newsletters because they're just trying to spin it up, get it going, and then they don't really know that, hey, they don't treat it like a real business. So for you and me, that's great news because it gives you the opportunity, if you're serious about leveraging the newsletter space, building your own audience, driving your own uh, building your own audience, and then driving revenue as a media company, right? So you're going to be able to do that pretty easily if you just put some effort into it, because a lot of people are just doing it kind of half-assed as opposed to really looking at it as a true business. Now, with newsletters, though, the good part about more people getting newsletters is there are more services being built for newsletters. You can kind of see these ad platforms, you can see these lead platforms, companies that do newsletters, companies that do lead gen, right? All that stuff's out there. It's growing the service side of the industry as well. And there's companies like ours that will do it for you if you want to do that. But either way, it's the newsletter market is expanding. There's more and more people get into it, more and more services, which is actually a good thing. And from there, now the other kind of when something becomes a hot topic in the internet space is more gurus popping up daily trying to sell stuff to you. So real quick, I've been sending emails since 2007. And then I launched a newsletter media company in 2020. We still run that company on a daily basis right now. We send millions of emails every day. And because of that, we're in it consistently. I've had some of these a prime example is about a year ago, I had someone slide up in my DMs asking me how we were able to grow and launch our newsletter business so fast. And then shortly after we launched it, I started seeing him after I told him kind of what we were doing and everything else. And then he kind of ghosted me on having me help him. What he ended up doing was going out and he's now training people on newsletters. So the guy doesn't have experience doing it, but he was taking the stuff that I was teaching and teaching that, right? So it's part of the game. So just be cautious of who you're paying attention to and what you're listening to. Now, the next thing is with that, it's make sure there's a lot of different things going on in the marketplace. So you want to make sure that you're following the right people and get your information from people that are doing it daily and actually actively growing a newsletter business, not just talking about doing it. So with that said, let's talk about the difference between a media company and a newsletter company. Let's move into that section. I think this is a very important distinction. So a media company is a larger brand that is built, that has multiple facets to it, has multiple different types of audiences that you own and different outlets to reach those audience. A newsletter business is simply just that. It's a newsletter that you send emails out of, and sometimes you do advertising, sometimes you promote your own products. So those are the different things. And the media company is a company, it's a brand, it's a business that grows. A newsletter tends to just be something that someone sends, sometimes only, once a week. So for me, the newsletter, we have a media company. Newsletters is one of our driving factors inside of it. What I'm going to talk about now of how to increase revenue is one of our other pieces of that as well. So there's three ways there. There's multiple ways we make money in the media company, but our media company has email newsletters. It has SMS lists, which I'm going to talk about how to use those to leverage to leverage them in your business. And then you have the social media outlet that you can reach people, and there's so those are kind of some of the core avenues for you to leverage the media company and grow it out. But anyways, uh, and sorry, on-site revenue, right? So where a lot of newsletters aren't actually leveraging on-site content anymore, it's just a landing page where you can opt in. Which, hey, we have some of those as well, and we're going to move back into building each individual property we have into its own full-blown media property, because now you've got on-site revenue and on-site ad opportunities. So the fastest way, if you do have a newsletter, to start moving towards media company, the fastest way is to increase that revenue is to build an SMS list from your current subscribers. So a lot of companies and a lot of newsletters are really flat out sleeping on this. I slept on it for the first 3 years of the 4.5 we've been rocking on the media side. I wish I wouldn't have, because I could only imagine where we'd be at, frankly, if we didn't. But we slept on it no longer, and I'm telling you not to do it as well. So hopefully you listen better than I did back when I first started growing those media properties. And SMS is one of the fastest ways. The way that you can do this, you can give new subscribers, when you get an opt into your newsletter, you can ask them to opt in with the phone number and say, hey, would you like text updates or text results? So I've talked on a previous live about our process for getting 1,000 leads a day like clockwork. And in that live, I walk you through the exact flow that we use, the exact funnel and process we use to generate 1,000 leads a day like clockwork and monetize those leads. Well, inside of that process, you can ask for the phone number. And when they put their phone number in, you can add them to your text message list, so you can actually message out to them now and get information. So follow up, you can also send. Now, key thing is, I want to make sure we have a page with it where you can check a box and it says, yes, I agree to get text messages, right? So you want to make sure you're doing all the proper things you need to on that page when they do opt it. So you have that. Now, the next thing is, in your follow-up email campaigns, you can also give them incentives to opt into your text message list. Hey, text me now and I'll send you this free lead magnet. Text me now, I'll send you this free report. Fill out this poll and we'll add and let them put in their number. So there's a lot of ways that you can start growing that SMS list and growing it really, really fast. Now, text messaging costs a little bit more than email cost. So you want to make sure that you're getting active, engaged users in there as well. Just like in a newsletter, when you're building out segments, you do the same thing inside of your SMS list. I'll get to that in a second. So another thing I want to drive home here is, so if you have 100,000 email subscribers and you can get 25,000 of them to subscribe to your SMS list and this new audience that you've got, you can go to your advertiser and say, by the way, we've got our text list that we can send your offer out to. And the cool thing, what I learned really, really fast was, we have a 100,000 person list. It sells for about, on average, $1,500 for that list for our niche that we're in. It's a B2C niche. So our advertising dollars aren't as high as if we were to B2B. Now, a 40,000 SMS list that I've got, they actually pay $1,500 for that. Now it's easier. It's less characters. It's less setup. It's less HTML. It's less content. So they're paying more money per CPM, even on the B2C front, right? Or B2C being business to consumer, B2B being business to business. So for us, when we were able to build out multiple lists, for our different brands, start attaching SMS lists to our different brands, we were able to now sell 2 a day. So we can sell an email a day, and now we can sell an SMS a day. Let me preface that with, we don't like to sell a SMS every single day. It's just not how we operate. You can, but we're going to sell about 3 to 4 a week per brand. And same with our newsletter, we're trying to do 4 to 5 a week. sponsorships. So that is, in essence, you're able to drive more revenue as soon as you have that list, because now you've doubled the amount of ad space that you can sell, and the advertisers are getting really, really strong results. If you go look at the data, I don't want to bore you with too much data, but if you go look at it, there's like 95% SMS open rate, right? And on top of that, the big metric that you want to follow in SMS, I want to make sure you understand this though, because it is a little bit different, newsletters, is you want to make sure you're tracking clicks. Clicks are super important. And because of that, your list, and then eventually you can start segmenting your list based on the amount of clickers and everything else. People that opt out, they're opted out. Move on, right? Don't start trying to text those people. But if they click and they're engaged, that's obviously a hyper targeted client. Especially now, you can do the same thing you do in newsletters. You can start building out a health clicker list inside your SMS. You can start building out a financial clicker list in your SMS list, and start creating targeted list in SMS for these people as well, which opportunities are abundant at that point once you start doing that. So a couple tools I want to talk about so you can get rolling on this is, we've used a lot of tools over the last year and a half, 2 years, right? We've kind of gone through and tested stuff to see what's working. And we've got two that we really like. We've got Emotive, which is a platform we're using right now. If you want me to hook you up with them, let me know. But we have our current general news subscribers inside of there. And the one thing is though about it is it does require a large commitment up front. They want an annual contract. They want a commitment on it, how many you're going to send every month, which could be a tough thing to commit to if you're a smaller business and you don't know how many of those SMS you're actually going to grow right out of the gate. So I get that. So there's other solution, which is we are actually in beta right now with our own solution called customer automation, where it's handling newsletters and email automations, as well as SMS and chat functionality, and things to acquire leads and engage those leads, right? So that's what customer automation is. You can actually buy credits, and then so you can commit to the amount of credits that you want to sell. And then when you send a text, it just drops down your credits. When you need more, you buy more, right? So it's a little bit better if you've got a smaller brand that you want to get into the SMS game and start growing it. So it's a great way to do that. So anyways, those are the two kind of tools I would recommend. Now, best practices. So I want to talk about a couple of things on the SMS front. Number one is, this is stuff we're doing, so that's why I want to share it with you. So I'm open book on this stuff. Is number one is you when you sign up for SMS, you either get a phone number or you get a 5-digit code. You've probably seen them if you're on SMS tech, if you're on people's text list. So the phone number side is a little bit more strict on what you can send, and there's some regulation, a little bit more regulation and all that. A little bit tougher to get kind of approvals on some of those sends, right? And if you go to the 5-digit code, you got a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more control over that. So, but it also does cost more money, right? You're paying for that 5-digit code. If you look at some of the major brands that send out SMS, a lot of them send them on a 5-digit code because they're sending massive amounts of SMS, and they're doing that because it works. So now, if you're promoting affiliate products or CPA offers, or if someone buys a text from you to their product, even on a CPM side, right? One thing that's super important on that is that you can do, and we've just learned this one. So this is fresh right out of the gate. What's working now? Information for you is people are driving. You're able to set up those offers on your website, and that way, when they click on the link, so let's say brand A sends a text message. They click on that link, and it's to, let's say brand A is selling product B for, client one, right? They're selling for client one. Well, client one has you put their sales offer on your website. So it creates a level of continuity and trust for them to click a link and land on your page, but it also looks better for the carriers that are allowing us to send those text messages, right? There's more congruency. It doesn't look like it's going out to other sites. You got a little bit of control over it to make sure it's not spam. You could send one bad text and your account could get shut down. That is one part of it. So you got to make sure that you're sending legit stuff. You know, you don't want to be sending some of that some of those things you shouldn't be sending. So we don't need to get into what those are. But so that's another thing. Now, and I mentioned this previous, but when people opt in to join your text list, have them check a box and record that they checked a box for you to go ahead and check the box that they approve for you to message them, right? So they're opting in, they're going from there. So that's that. And then the next thing is start, and I already mentioned this, but I'll come back to it. Start to segment your list by clickers, because SMS costs can go up. So if you text somebody, let's say 5 times, different messages, they don't open it. Let's say you got 100 people, 30 of them don't open, and only, let's say, 70 of them click. Well, you don't want to keep sending to those 30 that aren't opening, that aren't engaged, that aren't clicking, right? Because your cost goes up at that point. And now what happens is your profit margins go down. So if you're sending to 100,000, but only, let's say, 50,000 of those are clickers, all your actions coming in that 50,000, all the performance coming in that 50,000. So you don't want to go send to 100,000 and pay double the cost if those people aren't engaging. Now there's ways to go engage those ones that haven't and everything else, which we go through in the fast track, but either way, that's an opportunity for you. So now here, so to wrap this up, I kind of went through state of the newsletter market, how to increase revenue, some tools for you to use, and best practices. And then from there, getting started is get a solution in place. If you have a newsletter, you are missing out on the opportunity right now to actually drive revenue with SMS if you're not using it. So I highly recommend getting a solution in place and executing on that. The second thing is you can go pick a solution, whatever one you want, and roll with it, do it yourself. You could potentially also, with us at Marketing Rebels, we can actually do it for you. We'll set it up for you. We can connect you with a beta account of customer automation. We can build out the entire flow to get your opt-ins for you and whatnot to help you out, make sure you're compliant, make sure things are done right, make sure that you're on the up and up so you don't get any issues, and help you with that as well, right? So it's up to you. I'm good either way. If you got questions on kind of what to leverage, if you want to go look at another tool, DM me, shoot it over. Happy to look at it. If you want us to help you, same thing, slide up in DMs. Let me know. I'll happily jump on and help you out and see what we can do to get this thing launched for you. So with that, appreciate you showing up. These lives that I'm doing are meant to be quick hitters of useful, impactful information that you can leverage yourself. It's a lot of times you're going to hear us talking about common marketing and advertising strategies and how to do them uncommonly well, because so many people don't do them well. They do them halfway, and you can win in the marketing space, in the online advertising space, if you just do it really, really well, get really, really good at a couple things instead of trying to do all the things. So with that said, appreciate you showing up. Reach out if you got any questions. Thank you.